In Parliament today, the leader of the opposition asked if the November implementation of the entry-exit system at the frontier would impact the timeline for treaty negotiations. The Chief Minister emphasised confidentiality, adding that setting a November deadline was not in Gibraltar's best interests.
In the context of a negotiation where nothing is agreed until everything is agreed, even potential next meetings aren't agreed until there is something to agree on at them, or there is at least an agreed agenda that might need to be taken at the level of foreign secretaries, vice president of the European Union, and the chief minister of Gibraltar. But it is important for people to know, and I appreciate that the honourable gentleman is giving me the opportunity by this question to inform the community that it is not impossible that there might be other such high-level meetings in coming weeks or months. As I've said already, I don't want to fall into the trap of setting up any date in November as a cliff edge against which we would be negotiating. Because that would not be in our interest as a negotiating party.
Keith Azopardi also questioned whether the presence of Spanish officers in Gibraltar, uniformed or not, remained a red line in any treaty. The Chief Minister reaffirmed that this position had been made clear ad nauseum.
The jurisdiction of Gibraltar is a matter for the law enforcement agencies of Gibraltar. At the same time, we've also been very clear and unequivocal in saying that we've always accepted, as we couldn't accept otherwise, that responsibility for the application of the rules and regulations of the Schengen Acquis is not a matter for the government of Gibraltar or the government of the United Kingdom. It's a matter for the responsible Schengen authorities. Now, in that context, Madam Speaker, we're very clear that on Gibraltar, there only needs to be Gibraltar law enforcement agents, British law enforcement agents, enforcing Gibraltar's laws, including our immigration laws, and giving assurance to third parties in the context of what happens in and around Gibraltar.
On the topic of law enforcement agencies, Fabian Picardo clarified the role of Frontex.
Frontex is not a law enforcement agency. I think that's clear. Frontex is a European agency which can aid member states in respect of the provisions of the statute that creates Frontex, and insofar as that creates jurisdiction in respect of Frontex.
Quizzed on whether the current border fluidity arrangements for Gibraltarians would remain in place after the conclusion of negotiations, Fabian Picardo limited himself to say the arrangements for red ID card holders had worked well so far.
As he knows, there are potentially new rules coming into play in respect of access to all parts of the Schengen area, and he will have heard what I have heard the Spanish Foreign Minister say in public, not in the context of the parts of the negotiation that are held behind closed doors.
Pressed on the challenges faced by blue card holders, the Chief Minister sympathised, blaming Spain for not extending measures to them. He then criticised the leader of the opposition, stating that with negotiations in its final stages, it was too late to renegotiate for one group. The focus now, he said, is to press ahead and reach an agreement.
What we have to do is finish the negotiation. Finish it safely, securely, and beneficially in the judgment of the government of Gibraltar, because it will be the Gibraltar cabinet that determines whether what we come back with can be considered to be safe, secure, and beneficial, in which case we will then bring it to this Parliament for debate and for approval. That's what we need to do. And that will clear the way for fluidity of movement for all colour of civilian registration card holders and Gibraltar red ID card holders.
The Chief Minister confirmed that any deal deemed safe and beneficial by his cabinet would be debated in Gibraltar's Parliament before ratification by the UK government.